Welcome to the first segment of Talking on the Edge. Today we have Ken Gentles from Country Racing with an Edge, and he's here to tell you a bit about himself and where we're going to from here.
Yeah, g'day Scott, and g'day all the followers out there. Country Racing with an Edge has evolved from me starting a Facebook page with absolutely nobody interested at all into a very successful page, I believe, and obviously we're going to take it to different levels now. It's reached a stage where our following is very high.
So tell me a bit about yourself, Ken.
Oh, look, I've been a punter all my life. My dad was a bookmaker. I've been on racetracks since I was a baby, and I was a very, very ordinary punter for many years. I had a lot of skill, but no discipline and very little knowledge of how the game works. And up until probably 10 years ago, when I met a mentor, he pulled me aside and said, "Look, I'm retiring, mate. I need something to do with my retirement. I want you to do the form for me, and I'll do the betting because you're the worst bettor I've ever seen." And he said, "You're the best form student I've ever seen." And I sort of put two and two together at that stage and said, I need to do something about using my skills better instead of just, going to be a bad punter.
So in regards to like being a form student and seeing qualities in, I guess, yourself, what do you think he saw in you?
Oh, he saw that I had talent around horses. He could see that I looked at things differently than the normal person. And he could see that he was a race goer, but he could never get to my level of expertise. My eye for a race was something probably different than most people had. He's a very smart man, very successful businessman, and he doesn't suffer fools easily. And he could see that my talent was being wasted by me being a goose, really, at the end of the day when it came to the money side of it.
So why is it, Ken, that you focus on northern New South Wales, like the country meetings up there, and not branch out to the sort of city meetings or interstate?
Oh, look, mate, I was a racing rider here for many years. When I say here, I meant the mid-north coast. I covered Kempsey, Taree, Port Macquarie race meetings and wrote a lot about it, met all the jockeys, all the trainers. And again, it's one thing we developed when my mentor came on board. We actually were going to do the provincials at Newcastle, and we worked out they were too hard because we didn't know the form. And when Chris Waller and Gai Waterhouse had several runners in a race, we had no idea which one would win, and I don't even know if they did. And we soon realised that Newcastle wasn't a viable opportunity for us. So we basically start at Cessnock and we go up to as far as probably Casino. We don't do Ballon or Wollumbar. We found the Queensland horses infiltrating that area made it far too hard to come up with decent decisions. So again, that's what the stats told us. But it's about knowing the horses, knowing the jockeys, knowing the tracks, and that really is about it. And if you try to take on too much, you won't win.
And the thing is, that's your big thing, isn't it, Ken, trying to beat the bookies? You set the prices. We had a question from Peter Gaffer saying about the best bet of the day, or putting your selections, the one that you like the most, and that's not what it's about, is it?
No, look, as I said, over time, and even going back to the days where I was with the guy that sort of put me on the right path, we ended up breaking square in the end, and it was because I didn't have my pricing right. Like, we had some good runs early on and our percentage was very high, but it came back to the field because we were tending to back too many horses and losing our profit margin. And I read an article about Bill Waterhouse, the famous bookmaker. As I said, I've been learning, reading desperately to get this right. And I thought, he said something along the line, someone asked him whether the punters beat him, and he said the only punters that ever beat me were those who priced their markets at 90% and got it right. So I thought if it's good enough for them to beat him, I'll start pricing my markets at 90%, and that is the thing that changed everything for me.
It's the hard work. And we had a question from Dennis. He had a few questions, and he wanted to know about how many hours you put in, like, to a meeting.
Each race meeting takes between 3 and 4 hours to do the pricing, to do the form. And when I say form guides aren't worth the paper they're written on. Anyone that just reads the form guide has got no hope of winning. That's just someone else's opinion. You have to make your own form guide. So you basically have to watch replays. But again, not everyone's going to come up with a replays like I do. I've got a different eye. I look for different things. And, the bloke up the street may watch the same race as me and not pick up the thing he needs to pick up.
It's experience.
Yeah, my trained eye picks up stuff, and that's a game where I'm getting a bit of an edge. I'm going to win.
I tried it once, and I think I got through one race and I was done. So
you tried doing what I do.
I tried. You gave me a few tips, and I tried to do it, and It's hard. It's hard work.
It's very hard work, and as I said, it takes about 4 hours to get through a meeting. Dennis also asked about, is he give out a best bet of the day? The answer to that is no, and the reason being, that's what mainstream media do, and we're not them. There's no such thing as a good thing in racing.
Okay, so Kylie Johnson has asked you a question, Ken, about the top 3 things that you look at when you're analysing the form.
Okay, so I look, the top thing for me is the horse's last run on video, on tape, and their last barrier trial. If they're coming first up from a spell, place big importance of barrier trial, especially with horses having their first start. I think the amount of winners I've found at big prices of barrier trials with horses having their first start's amazing, and that's because I pick up stuff that other people aren't in the trials, and it's a real good tool for me. So definitely the videos. Another thing is, I know it sounds crazy, but that's really the nucleus of it. The other thing is finding the right price for the horse, and again, that's something I can do. It's probably not something a lot of people can do.
And the thing is, a lot of the followers are probably alter their, I guess, what the selections you give them to suit their style.
Oh, that's exactly right. I mean, I would prefer it if they stuck to it to the letter. I would prefer it to just use the $20 staking system to the letter. And if they want to make that 200, if they want to make it 2,000, if they want to make it $1,000 a race, that's their go. But I'd rather them stick to it because I know they won't lose. I know over time we will show a profit. Whether it's still 33% in 2 months, I don't know, but I'm sure it won't drop too much. A short time ago, country racing was on its knees a few years ago. The passion had gone out of it for the participants. The prize money was terribly low. And it really was a game going nowhere. Trainers were going broke; they couldn't make any money. Whilst prices of feed and gear for the horses and travel cost, petrol was going up, prize money didn't, and people just had enough. It was the industry was poor. But Peter V'landys and the board at Racing New South Wales have turned it around. It's amazing what's happened in the last few years since the prize money went up to $20,000 a race.
Another question, Ken, that we've had from a follower, Tim Lloyd, was in regards to jockeys' influence and what sort of part that plays.
Yeah, look, I used to not put as much emphasis on jockeys as I do now. It's something, again, that's evolved over time. I really think where we look at our area, there are a few jockeys that I love them riding. Ben Looker for one, Matt McGorran another. They just seem to be getting on the best horses, and you've just got to have them in your camp. Rachel Murray's another one who have a bit of up and down results with her, but she's riding really well. So again, where I might have left Rachel out a couple of times down the track, I've put her right up there with the others. So jockeys are definitely a big influence.
Especially if you've got a horse that's like a run-on horse or it plays to their strengths, you're going to look at that, aren't you?
Yeah, no, look, they're winners, and you've got to be with the winners. So yeah, I put a lot of focus on being. I want my horses ridden by the best jockeys actually, and I used to not be so fussy about it, but I think it's a huge plus.
Moving forward, Ken, to the future of country racing with an edge, it's been quite an exciting start. Where do you see it going to from here?
Well, when you say start, Scott, I've actually, I put the page together to try and help people realise that you can make money out of country racing with betting. I don't think they were getting served properly by mainstream media, tipping 6 to 4 shots every race. It was starting to get on my nerves, so I thought, I'll teach people, or try to help people how to do this and show them that country racing is a viable operation. And it takes a lot of hard work, and it's taken me a long time to get to where I am now. And I really believe that I can help people make money at this. I also believe I can help educate them into learning different ways to bet. I think the way we do it is something that a lot of people are going, what in the world is going on? I don't understand anything about this. But I think over time, and you just being with me for a few months now, I've learned a lot already about what makes racing tick. And I think if people stay with us, they can learn along the way, they can make some money along the way, and they can enjoy their racing much more. Look, going forward, I'm pleased with all the people that have got on board. It's just been amazing. As I said, I didn't expect it to evolve to this level, but it has. And I think now's the time for me to say, okay, I've put in a lot of work for you guys, and I think we're going to have to look at our website and put together some packages that people may want to get involved in getting our selections. As I said, they won't, if they pay for them, they won't lose their money, because A, our figures say they won't, and B, they'll get enjoyment along the way as well. So it's time to go. I don't like to use the word professional, but it is time to evolve the page to the next level, to my opinion.
And we're going to have membership options. The Facebook page won't change. Apart from the selections going into the website, everything else will still be there. We'll still do reviews and yeah.
Interviews. We've got a lot of things we're going to do going forward.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's Talking on the Edge with Ken Gentles and Country Racing with an Edge. And we look forward to bringing you some more interviews along the way with racing personalities, trainers, jockeys. And we hope you've enjoyed this and enjoy the rest of your day.